Let's talk about some issues. And as we adjust the music, let's get right to it. What do I want to play today? Yeah. All right. Okay, good people. As you saw via the title, one of the first things I want to talk about is what a lot of people were talking about this week. And that is the consideration of Senator Jeff Sessions' appointment for the United States of America Attorney General. I'm not going to assume that all you all know what the Attorney General's role and responsibilities are, so allow me to give you just a quick brief so that we can know what we're talking about here. And then after I go over my topic, y'all can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Now, the Attorney General, first of all, he or she is responsible for enforcing the law and administering justice in the United States of America. Represents the United States in all legal matters. Supervises and directs the administration and operation of the offices, boards, divisions, and bureaus that comprise the Department of Justice. Let me keep it real with you all. I think some of you all, probably not you, but some of you all's family members have received a visit from the FBI, the DEA, or the ATF. Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, my point is saying that this person that is appointed to the Attorney General position, they had all of that. They had the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They had the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. You best believe that Attorney General is heading those departments. Well, some would say that that is an important job, don't you think? And which leads me to what we're talking about this week. So who do we have in consideration for fulfilling this appointment? That is the senator representing the great state of Alabama. And the senator's name is Jeff Sessions. What political party does he ascribe to, you might say? He's a Republican. And oh wait, when I mention a Caucasian male from Alabama, you know the discussions that occur. You know the assumptions that are provided. And so let's look. Here's the most important thing we have to grapple with tonight. There are two elements in this. First of all, we want to see what he said during the hearing, and then we want to see what he has done prior to the hearing. Because how many of you all know what you say sometimes can be in contrast to what you have done? I'm not here to give my stance right now, although I will. William B. J. Gary, execution arm of prosecutorial discretion. Yes, sir. Very important position. So right now I want to go and talk about a couple of things. So first of all, let's get serious here. For federal criminal cases, yes, William B. J. Gary, federal criminal cases. This is what the Attorney General roles and responsibilities include. So, I'm sure you all have seen some folks, Cory Booker. I know you've seen some pundits on TV. I even saw several people, honestly, who are opposed to him being confirmed. So and mainly, let me get my notes right here. That the reasons that people typically want to oppose him being confirmed into this position, it's usually primarily to civil rights reasons. So let's talk about some of those civil rights reasons. So let's talk about what he said. First, he said, and I'm talking about during the hearing, he stated, "I deeply understand the history of civil rights and the horrendous impact that relentless and systematic discrimination and the denial of voting rights has had on our African American brothers and sisters." He said, "I have witnessed it. We must continue to move forward and never back. I understand the demands for justice and fairness made by our LGBT community. I will ensure that the statutes protecting their civil rights and their safety are fully enforced. I understand the lifelong scars borne by women who are victims of assault and abuse. So in his opening statement, you can see that he knows what people are going after him about. So he addresses all of those things in one paragraph, if you will. So that's what he said. Let's also talk about one other thing that he said during the hearing, which was definitely beneficial. Regarding a Muslim ban and the registry. I know you all remember when President-elect Trump mentioned that he was for having a Muslim ban, meaning if you ascribe to the Muslim faith, you don't need to be coming into our country for a while. So what he said was he has no belief and does not support the idea that Muslims as a religious group should be denied admission to the United States. So honestly, I gotta be honest with you all, he is saying a lot of things that are the perfect answers, if you will, in this Senate setting. And so those are some of the things that he talked about during the hearing. I just want to talk about a few things that occurred before the hearing, and then we'll open it up to your comments for a discussion tonight. Okay, so when we talk about civil rights and race issues, yep, I see William B.J. Gary. And we talk about race issues because, you know, in this country, race never goes away. I'm sorry for those who think it may. Okay, so mainly there's one incident and where people really are calling him out on, and that is back in 1986. The Senate Judiciary Committee heard testimony that he called the NAACP and other civil rights groups as un-American and communist inspired. That was what the testimony regarding his comments to those civil rights groups was. Someone also testified that Jeff Sessions had said he believed that the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, was okay until he learned its members smoked marijuana. I'm not making any of this up. This is what has been documented. And oh, come on now, that was a long time ago. That was about 21 years ago. So let's give the benefit of the doubt. It was back in the 80s. Some of y'all who listening weren't even born during the time that he was mentioning these accusations. But yeah, so called civil rights groups like the NAACP un-American and communist inspired. Called the KKK okay until he learned its members smoke marijuana. Oh, and then here's another big one, and I think this is where a lot of people understand what's going on. He admitted, and this is back in the 80s, I'm not saying he said this now, but this is back in the 80s, he admitted to referring to the Voting Rights Act as a piece of intrusive legislation. I think many of you all understand that the Voting Rights Act was an act that occurred, I believe, back in the 60s, back in 65, I believe. He had a point, yeah. He had a point. Okay, we'll get to that, BJ. So he said he admitted to referring to the Voting Rights Act. Voting Rights Act was an act that prohibited, meaning, no, we're not going to have any discrimination regarding voting in this country based on your race, based on your ethnicity, based on things like that. And so he said it was a piece of intrusive legislation. The word intrusive means causing disruption or annoyance through being unwelcomed or invited. So basically what he was saying was the Voting Rights Act, this whole big act, I know it's supplemental parts within it, but the entire big act was, it was an annoyance. It was unwelcomed. It was uninvited. It was causing disruption. And so let's give him the benefit of the doubt because that's what was said back in the 80s. But in 2013, let me give it to you all. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Yeah, I'll see you, Will. In 2013, let's really be honest. He did vote to extend the Voting Rights Act when it was last reauthorized by Congress in 2013. Here's the issue of contention. But also in 2013, he praised the Supreme Court decision invalidating aspects of it. He mentioned if you go to Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, people aren't being denied the vote because of the color of their skin. That is what he said. So Long story short, you all, if you didn't know, because I like to break it down real simple for the folks that don't look at the news, who care less, they doing whatever they need to do. This show is for you. Long story short, there was a hearing this week that involves a person being put in a very, I would say, important position in this country, who has the responsibility of being the head of the FBI, of making sure that the mission of the FBI and the DEA and the ATF is carried out, because those are the law enforcement agencies. And what does the Attorney General do? He doesn't create laws, but he enforces those laws. And you all know that person should be able to support the current laws that are here in this country. And if that person supporting that has a biased idea about some of the issues, that could be an area of compromise. So that's the whole debate going on, and we're going to get to the end when how it affects your life. But Will, are you able to call the line, man? Yeah. Let's go ahead and unpack this. And if it's some civil rights issues going on, meaning some things that don't align with the morals and just being able to not be compromised by their views to execute these duties, that is a very important issue. I feel though, come on, let me keep it real. I feel as though we have, and I'm a Democrat on most of the issues. I'm just let y'all know I'm a liberal who is conservative. Yeah, that's me. But I feel as though people who are against his appointment to the position, I think you all may be barking up the wrong tree. Let me tell you why. First of all, this is a man, if he's appointed, is going to be responsible for enforcing the laws, not creating the laws. And let me tell you, if you looked at the hearing, you will understand that a lot of those issues that he was saying, he didn't have a problem with saying, no, I don't agree with same-sex marriage. I don't agree with abortion. But you know what? The law of the land is such. The law of the land states that abortions are okay. The law of the land states that same-sex marriage is okay. That's what he said. And he said, since we have the law of the land, I don't create the laws, I enforce the laws. And he said that pretty much on every issue. So that is what we have today. Also, let's not get it twisted, you all. For those who think that he may not be appointed, the Senate is controlled by the Republicans. They're going to vote probably right after the inauguration, and it's probably going to occur. So for us to spend and I say us because many times I lean on the Democratic Party, for us to continue to elevate this issue and continue to have rallies about this issue, are we putting our focus in the wrong area, you all? Like I said, he's not going to be creating laws. He's going to be enforcing the laws. Should we be focusing all of our attention on the folks that represent us that create the laws, i.e. The House of Representatives, the Senate? Should we be making sure that we try to make sure that the right people are in those positions? Because let's face it, I mean, they have outnumbered us in the Senate. So those are just a couple of my thoughts. I believe I have Will on the line. Let me see. Let me go to my line here. Hello, who's out there? Hey, what's up, Will? How you doing, man?
It's been a busy week, but I'm back in the house now, so it's all good.
Okay, cool, man. So, yeah, so we want to keep it rolling. I mean, for those who tune in, you know, you all are familiar with my voice as well as Will's. So we want to just get this dialogue going. Will, I'm sure you heard me talk about the first initial issue today, and I wanted to talk about the Senator Jeff Sessions' consideration for being Attorney General. And I gave a little bit of my thoughts, but I'm here to listen to your thoughts and other comments, and let's just discuss this, man. You got some comments?
Yeah, I do have a few comments. Well, first and foremost, I'm not real keen on all of Jeff Sessions' background, on the complete unadulterated history of his time in political office. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of me, pretty much just going off the cuff based off of briefly what I've looked up and what you've talked about. Mm-hmm. But I do understand. I want to point out something. I want to go in depth a little bit on the comment that I made, which was regarding the NAACP, where he felt like it was what did he say, un-American or
un-American? Now this was back in the 80s, but he said it was un-American and communist inspired. That was a testimony that somebody gave. Yeah.
Okay, so communist inspired. You know where he got that from?
Who?
Because there was a time when you had several members, and this is after blacks started, for whatever reasons, started shifting from voting overwhelmingly Republican to overwhelmingly Democrat. You did have some people within the NAACP that were part of the American Communist Party. So for him to say something like that, it may have kind of been in bad taste, but that doesn't mean it's uncategorically untrue. You get what I'm saying? Or excuse me, categorically untrue. So, I mean, you could say, but so if you were to take a look at, today, you could say that, Hillary Clinton, it was the same thing because she was actually endorsed by the American Communist Party also. She actually received an endorsement from the American Communist Party. So you can say that her campaign had to deal with communism. I mean, it's in bad taste, it's in poor taste, but it's not categorically untrue. So, now getting back to session,
well, can I ask you one thing before you go into that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
So what's un-American about the NAACP?
No, I didn't say un-American. I said communist. Communistized.
Do you believe the NAACP is un-American?
No, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
I understood. I mean, we all understood why the NAACP was established. So that in and of itself, I don't think it was what you would consider un-American, at least at the time. I'm not necessarily. I'm not sure what they stand for nowadays. If it hasn't shifted over time, but no, I don't necessarily think that the NAACP is un-American.
And so the allegation.
But as far as people that had a large amount of influence within the NAACP, potentially having some communist ties, at least I want to say back between the 60s and 70s, maybe even a little bit before that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So, like I said, even though he made a statement that is in poor taste, it's not necessarily untrue at the same time. Now, it is bad for him to say that the NAACP, period, instead of there are members within the NAACP, further codifying specifically what he meant. But that's all. I was just pointing that out just to cause a little bit of controversy, to get people to look into things a little bit deeper than just whatever they might read, or excuse me, not even read, but whatever they might see on TV in little, 30-second sound bites. So.
Right. And Joe, we like to break it down point by point. I know we'll keep talking. So, yeah, my point is, just like you said, that regarding NAACP and other civil rights being deemed as communist-inspired, maybe that's not a fully false statement. My point is, in the same sentence, or the same allegation, when it said NAACP was deemed as un-American, I will feel as though that is a false statement. So it is so we're talking about reasons why people are opposing this confirmation. That would be a reason in the hearts of many to state that that allegation or that statement on his behalf, we would deem that would be a false statement. I believe the NAACP is an organization that wants to ensure that civil rights are given for colored people. I think I got an issue with that colored word, but I'll keep on going. but bottom line, minorities. So I think that is definitely American. I mean, when we live in a country that's supposed to give freedom for all, it's supposed to be pursuit of life, liberty, happiness, all of that. I mean, if a certain group of people feel as though they're not getting that, I think that's the most American thing to do, to galvanize and protect our rights. So that's just what I want to state about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
now, I agree with you. I mean, in retrospect, there should never have been a reason to establish an NAACP in the first place. If we go by exactly what was written in our founding documents for this country, there should never have been a reason, period, to have an NAACP. But because of our checkered past, we had to establish something that brought about some change with regards to civil rights for minorities. So, yeah, I agree with you in that.
What else did you want to talk about, bro?
So with regards to Sessions, so here's the thing. Like I said, I haven't looked into his past as much as I would have liked to. I've been busy this past week. So, but my thing is, what I would like for people to do is actually don't take everything for face value. I mean, look into things a little bit deeper and realize that people are going to have some implicit biases. Case in point, if history matters, then there's only some parts of history matter or all parts of history matter. Because it seems that people like to cherry pick history that will confirm whatever their narrative is that they're trying to push versus examining all of the history that's available where they might come across information that actually refutes the narrative that they're trying to push. Case in point, Sessions was responsible for prosecuting some Klansmen that killed, I forget the young, he was a black boy that he was hung from a tree, and these three Klansmen were responsible for it. And I believe that he also oversaw their prosecution and sought the death penalty for them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we want to say, is he being for civil rights because of that? I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think that he was doing what the hell he was supposed to do. These guys committed murder, which is a federal, in this case, a state felony, murder in the first degree that warranted a death penalty, so that's what they got. But, you can easily take that and say, look, I'm a champion for civil rights. These Klansmen did this egregious thing. They killed this poor black man, and I made sure that justice was enacted on them. You can play it however you want.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I get.
It goes the same for both ways. I can point that out for both sides. When you take something that happened in history, and you can play it. You can end up playing it either way to push whatever narrative you want to. So I could say, yeah, Jeff Sessions, I forget, Cory Booker has come out and said that he called him boy and this, that, and the other. Okay, got it. But you can also say that, well, he was a champion for black civil rights down in the South with the Ku Klux Klan, which is interesting because he was a Republican and he's prosecuting Klansmen. Now, people want to do their research, and they look into the Ku Klux Klan, they'll know that it was known as the terrorist wing of the Democrat Party because at that time, the South was overwhelmingly Democrat. We're talking about the times of the antebellum South after the Emancipation Proclamation. But even before that, Democrats were for slavery and for individual states' rights, at least in the South, which each individual state had their own, state laws with regards to slavery. So that's what I'm saying. When you look at history, look at all of history. So it's interesting. You got this Republican, if you want to play it this way, you got this Republican Attorney General, or I think he was a prosecutor in this case, that got these three Klansmen indicted and sought the death penalty for them. Republicans. These are Klansmen, which historically were associated with the Democrat Party back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So I say all this as a point to kind of show that you can play it up either way. Ultimately, I don't think that Jeff Sessions was the best pick. I think if the Trump administration wanted to really put somebody in that position that number one, people readily identify. Maybe it would have been someone like maybe just Andrew Napolitano, or maybe let's see, even Ted Cruz. You know, as much as Ted Cruz and Trump don't like each other, Cruz may have been a better pick for that.
Right.
That's my take on it, man.
Oh, I get it, definitely. I do agree that we have to evaluate the whole person. Like many opponents would like to point out those things, like you mentioned, about, well, they kind of probably would want to skip over what you mentioned about prosecuting the Klansmen, but they want to go directly to his comments about the KKK was okay until I found out they smoked weed. So, I mean, those are valid concerns as far as Cory Booker. I will be honest, I did not see his testimony as far as him mentioning the comment of boy. I mean, whether it's that, whether it's also other acts, as far as like in 2009, he voted against the Matthew Shepard Act, which added acts of bias, motivated violence based on sexual orientation and gender identity to federal hate crimes. So basically, he wasn't for deeming a hate crime to involve sexual orientation and gender identity elements. You know, the conservative issues, the conservative stances that we have for so long. So, you know, you can go on and on and on about different acts that's occurred, different measures, whatever, what he voted for. You can go down his voting record. I mean, that's readily available. But like I said before, and I want to get your take on this, man. Like I said before, this in the hearing, the central theme to what he was saying was some of the things I disagree with, but you know what? Since Congress has made it the law, I will make sure that it's enforced. He said that was basically the central theme throughout his testimony, throughout his hearing. So, I mean, this is the guy who's enforcing the laws. He's not making the laws. So really those opponents to him, maybe the focus should be on the folks who actually make the laws. You know, so maybe the folks should be, let's direct, I'll throw myself in there. Let's direct our attention to the Senate and the House of Representatives. You know, maybe, and let's face it, like I said before, the Senate is controlled by the Republicans right now. So you really think that he's not going to get confirmed after the inauguration?
No, I mean, he's basically a shoo-in for confirmation.
All right.
And I agree with you, yeah. So our focus should be on the House and the Senate to ensure that our representatives, state representatives, district representatives are putting forth legislation which is commensurate to what the people want, or at least what the people see. I want to. When you say what the people want, that includes that we are inherently a complete democracy, which is not true. We are a constitutional republic, and we have more and more democracy, quote unquote, in the traditional sense as you get down to the lower levels. But we're actually a constitutional republic. But yeah, that our district and state representatives are beholden to what is in the best interest for people in their districts, their state, and then for the American people overall.
Absolutely.
But here's the other part too, though. Remember I said that he's responsible for prosecutorial discretion. So
you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, my bad. My earpiece. But yeah, he's responsible for enforcing the law as it pertains to the courtroom prosecuting individuals in accordance with what's put forth in federal law. So, by virtue of that, if he chooses not to prosecute individuals that clearly violated federal law, he needs to be held accountable for that. And when there's an uproar, if he does something like that, like I said, he needs to be held accountable. Just like other attorney generals in the past have not been held accountable when they wanted to, by order of whomever, I I mean, that person shall remain nameless, wanted to have certain prosecutorial discretion with regards to certain federal laws that were broken in certain states that happen to be in the Southwest. I'm just saying, you know, if you're going to enforce the law, you need to be beholden to that law and held accountable for whether or not you're going to prosecute individuals that actually break that federal law.
I hear you. I agree with you saying. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
So, takeaways, because you know I always like to do takeaways. Takeaways for this is, people, like I said before, there was a hearing that occurred regarding the next attorney general for the country. What does the attorney general do? He or she is responsible for enforcing the laws that are made by the folks that represent us, those folks in D.C. So what is the responsibility of attorney general? To also make sure that the FBI and the DEA and the ATF and other agencies are enforcing those laws as well. So at the end of the day, how will it affect you? It will affect you based on, well, let me give you this spin. I don't think we should be putting all our focus on this issue. I'm just going to be honest. Sometimes it's issues where we're putting it on CNN, we're putting it on Facebook, and really it's taking more time from progress than, you know, there should be. I really think we should just be focusing on the folks that make the laws in terms of looking at their voting records, looking at their past, looking at how they will probably act when making the laws. And so, like we always say, vote, vote, vote. Know who you're voting for. Know who's representing you. I think that's what we should be putting our focus on right now. And because the Senate is controlled by the Republicans, it's probably going to happen, you all. So it was a great speech. It was a great testimony from those who felt as though that he shouldn't be confirmed. But it's probably going to happen. So let's focus our attention on other things. Will, I did want to get your thoughts on, I don't know if you heard, did you hear President-elect Trump's comments regarding Congressman John Lewis?
No, I didn't. Enlighten me on that, man.
Basically, what he said, I think it was a tweet or some way of communication.
Oh man.
When basically yeah. Basically when John Lewis was, I mean, we all know John Lewis, historic Democrat. Let's just face it, he didn't vote for President-elect Trump to get in office. And I think John Lewis said something, and President Trump basically said, John Lewis, you need to focus on your horrible district, you know, so you're all talking, no action. He's talking to a congressman. This is a congressman he's talking to. Yeah, so that was his comment to him. So some folks, not the whole country, but some folks were in an uproar saying, oh, how could this president-elect, you know, say that, you know, how does he have the right to say that, you know, John Lewis should just basically shut up and color and focus on his horrible district. He's, you know, no, all talk, no action, stuff like that. What's your take on that, man?
I mean, is he wrong? Is he wrong for saying that? Like, hey, why don't you focus on what your constituency, your district needs versus, you know, anything dealing with me? Yeah. Because you're a representation in the House of the people in your district, of the state that you represent. So, is he necessarily wrong? Now, I think it's a bad taste. I think the reason. So here's the main thing. Here's the reason why Trump is not liked as much as he actually could be. Is because of two reasons. Well, one supporting the other. Number one, his tweets. Yeah. Bolstered by number two, the mainstream, you know, left wing media. They're going to take whatever they can, and which he gives them plenty of ammunition to, and use it to show them, look, this guy is uncouth. He is very disrespectful. You know, you name it, which equates to them pushing the narrative that he should not be the president of the United States. Well, I mean, there is no, as far as I know, in the Constitution it says you have to be a nice guy, you have to be respectful and everything else that qualifies you to be a president of the United States. I don't recall it saying that, but I mean, I would prefer that he would be a little bit more respectful. in this case with John Lewis, I would have also preferred that he be a little more respectful. But is he wrong? That's the thing. I divorced myself from the emotion of it.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I feel like that he should have been a lot more tactful. But there was other ways that he could have handled that. But if I look at it objectively, is he wrong for saying something like that? It's just like, you know, people. For instance, I know you heard the saying, you know, you need to take care of home first. You out here worried about what's going on in other people's house and other folks' business, but you're not even taking care of what's going on at the house.
Right.
You know, I recall, you know, my parents talking about that, you know, coming up like, you need to take care of home first. When you get older, you get married, you get your house, so you need to make sure home first before you go out there sticking your nose in other folks' business.
Right.
Is that wrong? Is it wrong for someone to point that out? Objectively speaking, I don't think it's wrong.
It's not wrong to point it out, but there's a way that you're supposed to point it out, man. As far as the head of the upcoming head of state with that much responsibility, we know what times we're in right now. We know that there's definitely a great divide within our country. We know the great responsibility that, I mean, these individuals have. So to me, that's a conversation you have on the phone. That's a conversation you have. Hey, invite John Lewis to come up to Trump Tower like you inviting all these other folks, Steve Harvey, all these other folks. You know, so you want to have a conversation with one of your congressmen, go ahead and have that, you know, in private right now. You know, why are we blasting that via the internet only for other folks who probably who reside in that district, who know about what's going on in Georgia? I'm just going to be honest. I don't live in Georgia right now, so I don't know the politics of Georgia. I don't know what's going on with John Lewis's district. Some of you all who are on the line right now, maybe you all know. But I do know that there's a way to get your point across. And I don't think that was the right way to get that point across, man. You the president-elect, soon to be president. You're supposed to be working with Congress. You know, this is not the way to facilitate that teaming aspect, if you will. So yeah, that's just my thought about it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's unfortunate that he comes off the way that he does, but that's part of why people are enamored with him. Because he is not your traditional politician.
Yeah.
He is not.
Go to the lines right now. Hey, this is what this show is about. So let me just give a shout out to the folks that are on the line. Crystal McKnight, hello. Kevin A. Coleman, Anthony Corneef, Steve Spurley. What's up, Steve Spurley? If you still on the line, man, I know you got some great topics, man. Who else out here? Okay, I see Nicola Edwards, DeAndre Cash. I know you all shared the video. Rosalind Knight. So, people, if you've not been listening, listen to this point right now. This is the time. If you want to talk about some things, go ahead, shoot your comments, shoot your topics, whatever you want to talk about. Let's facilitate a discussion. Area code 7. Let me give y'all the call-in number one more time. Area code 712-770-4098. I repeat, 712-770-4098. Access code 318342. 318342 is the access code. Will, man.
I want to bring up something real quick, man,
yes, sir.
that I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Want to call in? I gave you the number 712-770-4098. Access code 318342. Talk about what you want to talk about. But I want to address your comment right here. What are your thoughts on Steve Harvey's meeting with Trump and his subsequent comments? I believe when you say his subsequent comments, I believe you're talking about Steve Harvey's subsequent comments. For those who didn't know, yes, Mr. Trump meets with a lot of people. He meets with Kanye West. He meets with a lot of people, a lot of celebrities. He's in that celebrity mode, as you already know. Steve Harvey is no exception to the rule. He met with him this week, and what Steve Harvey mentioned was it was a normal conversation. They talked about golf. They talked about knowing, the same celebrities. And most importantly, they talked about things that they could do, that they could team up together with fixing some of the issues in the inner cities. Namely, one of the first cities that was mentioned was Chicago, and he also mentioned Detroit. So what do I think about the Steve Harvey meeting with Trump? Well, honestly, what's up?
I want to hear this.
Oh yeah. Come on, y'all. I mean, I'm not.
I think we're gonna come to the same conclusion though. I got a sneaky feeling we're gonna come to the same conclusion on this.
Yeah, all I can do is be honest, man. So here's my honest stance on this. We know that Steve Harvey endorsed Hillary Clinton. We know that. So yeah, and in this society, when a prominent figure endorses Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton doesn't win the office, I guess the attitude is we just supposed to just be opposed to anything that Trump is doing. So we're not supposed to be supporting anything. We're not supposed to be showing up. We're not supposed to be playing token black guy. We're not supposed to be doing none of that. That's what folks believe, and I empathize with what you're saying. However, let's not deny, first of all, the influence that Steve Harvey has. Steve Harvey has, 8 million people listening to his radio show and a whole lot more people than that watching his TV show. So, am I hating or am I mad that he used his influence to be able to have that meeting that I'm not able to have with the President of the United States? No, I'm not hating. I'm not mad. So, what's up, DeAndre? How you doing? Yeah. First of all, if y'all didn't hear that, that's my sister. We're going to get to it. That's my sister, DeAndre Cat. Hey, first of all, do you want me to call you DeAndre? Because I know you got another name.
Oh, my gosh.
What's up?
Okay.
What you say?
I said that's fine.
Okay, cool. But yeah, in short, and DeAndre, you can inform me if you got more comments on his subsequent comments. But as far as him I believe Steve Harvey wants to make sure he can do what he can do to lessen some of the issues and the problems in these inner cities. I mean, do I think he has the really, Derrick, laugh out loud, it's my mom. Anyway, do I think that he has the organized plan to do it? Probably not. But is it worth a shot to meet with Donald Trump and try to figure out how we're going to fix these inner cities? I mean, go right ahead, Steve Harvey. I mean, we got to do something. What's the other answer? Okay, I'll let everybody else give their comments. DeAndre, did you want to say something?
I want to add something just real quick onto what you said there, because I agree with you 100%. But let me add this little tidbit onto it. Now, I recall, if President Obama, if he wanted to have a meeting with anyone, period, and they refused to have that meeting, think about the vitriol that they would receive. All right? I look at this the same exact way. Listen, regardless if you agree with President-elect Trump's politics or not, if he wants to have a meeting with you for whatever reason, and strong indications that in this case, this meeting with Steve Harvey, the reasons were genuine. The topics that they were discussing were genuine topics. I say, what's wrong with that? If President Obama does it, which he has done a lot of it throughout his 8 years, I don't see an issue with him with President-elect Trump doing the exact same thing. Regardless, if he's doing it for image or what have you, listen, if you're going to be critical of what President-elect Trump does, I think that the former president will also deserve some criticality in that arena also. That's how I look at it.
I got you. DeAndre, you want to say anything about this?
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with what you all saying in the sense that at least he's making an effort, right, to meet with people of color, because he probably doesn't have many around him. But at the same time, there's so many black congresswomen and congressmen or House of Representatives, like someone else that he could have met with. And then we don't know that he hasn't, but the fact that his meetings with Kanye West and Steve Harvey are the ones that are like getting all of this publicity. Why aren't you meeting with like a Maxine Waters, who is literally like, I used to live in LA and have seen her in the trenches in LA, like beside the people at like food drives and just different things in the community. Why not meet with her? Like, she's a representative.
I know.
I guess I just don't understand why what real work will get done by meeting with Kanye or a Steve Harvey.
Can I answer that question?
Like, kind of get like more of like a popular black vote in the sense of like we like these black people, so that it's like people like us are like, ooh, yeah, maybe we should like Trump too. Like, I don't.
Yes, that's exactly why, Deandra. That's
Deandra.
Why. You just answered your own question, I think.
And I don't like it.
No, man, I know, but here's the other thing too. Keep this in mind. I mentioned this earlier, and on Derrick's earlier shows, Trump is not a politician. He is not. So he is not gonna. That doesn't appeal to him working with Maxine Waters. First and foremost, Maxine Waters said that she would not be with Trump under any circumstances. She said that herself, if I'm not mistaken. Did she not?
I think she did, yeah. But
yes, exactly. So, yeah. So he is not a politician. He is a celebrity. It makes sense for him to be with celebrities. He knows how to play that game. I disagree with it too. I don't know what the hell Steve Harvey is going to be able to accomplish, except for, making Trump, I guess, receive a little bit more popularity amongst blacks, and maybe raise some awareness. But as far as legislation is concerned, I don't know what the hell Kanye West and Steve Harvey and Cat Williams and whoever else is going to do by meeting with President-elect Trump.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Gus?
Well, my number one thought right now, and Deandra echoed this. We do not know all of the people that he's meeting with. We don't. We assume that he's not meeting with a John Lewis or a Maxine Waters. We assume that, but we don't really know. So I go back to thinking about this. Let's not deny the power of influence. There is power in influence. So when we think about, let's pose this question right here. Who has more influence, Maxine Waters or Steve Harvey?
Well, yes. Like, if you're thinking in the sense of reaching a larger audience of black people, it's going to be Steve Harvey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a huge country. Over 300-something million people, right? And so if we want to start some initiatives, honestly, for me, is you need a multifaceted team. You need Congress, and you need these people, these celebrities. I'm not going to call them these people. These celebrities, these people with influence. You need a multifaceted team. But you cannot deny the power of the influence that even a Mr. Steve Harvey has, or Kanye West. So bottom line, for those who think that Kanye or Steve Harvey, they not supposed to be meeting with Donald Trump, please, you need to divorce that way of thinking. Because trust me, if I had my way, if I could meet with Trump, I would too. So I mean, we gotta, even though we got opposing views, it's some power when you have a direct line to a man that powerful.
Exactly. And Dio Hughley came out and he was saying something about it, and basically saying how dare Trump try to meet with blacks because of I don't want to misstate what Dio Hughley said. People can go look at it for themselves, but I think it was something along the lines of basically he's kowtowing. He's trying to appease blacks by meeting with black celebrities, and it's like, okay, well, who the hell could he meet with then? Who could he meet with that would appease you, Dio Hughley, or other folks out there that feel like he shouldn't, that black celebrities have a duty to not meet with this individual, or celebrities period have a duty to not meet with this individual. Who should he meet with? I mean, he's going to be the president come January 20th. So does it make sense for him to just live in a complete bubble and not have meetings with anyone because everyone refuses to meet with him and only meet with people that share the same ideals as him? That doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I would like? I would like to go back to where Abraham Lincoln would filled his cabinet with people that thought the exact opposite of him in order to keep him on, to keep it, I guess to keep him more towards the center. He had people that were Republican and people that were Democrat in his cabinet because he wanted to see it from both sides. I'm sorry, Deandra, go ahead. My bad.
No. I definitely agree with that in the sense that he has to at least, the speech that he made the night of the election is, trying to reunite the country. So I definitely understand, taking those types of meetings. And no, I definitely don't think we should just sit around. I don't know who we should meet with then. Yeah. I thinking of like other representatives, like Charles comes to mind, but I don't even know who, honestly, of our elected officials even want to sit down with him.
Well, they need to want to.
I think that's wrong on their part. Saying, I won't meet with him under any circumstances. Really? Really? Because I thought we were supposed to work towards the greater good, which is going to entail some sort of bipartisanship, some sort of cooperation among the two parties if we're ever going to get anything accomplished, right? For the betterment of the U.S. citizens and more specifically whatever district or state that you represent. So for you saying that you don't want to come to the table for anything because you don't like the particular politics of the individual across the aisle from you, so how is anything going to get accomplished, I was really disappointed with Maxine Waters when she said that. I really was. I expected more from her because I think she's a very, very smart. But I know that she's broken several boundaries, and for that I'm very proud of her. But in the same token, for you to say something like that, man, that was really disappointing.
All right, let me go to the line.
I'm sure she's not the only one.
Let me go to the line and then subsequently throw you all a curveball regarding this Steve Harvey Trump thing. So my mother, shout out to Deborah Johnson Cash, she says, so Steve Harvey has stated he will not attend Trump's inauguration. Should he? Will attending show support or what? Well, go ahead.
You know what, man? This is going to sound kind of messed up, but I don't think attending the inauguration, like, really, I think it's more theatrics than anything else. And the reason why I say that is because for the second inauguration, this is when I was still in the Marine Corps at the time. I got voluntold there. You know what that means. I got voluntold that I was going to be responsible for a bunch of Marines down there that was, you know how they line up either side of Pennsylvania Avenue with all the service members?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was down there, and I had like a platoon-sized element of Marines I was responsible for that had to stand there for the whole inauguration. So maybe I was a bit jaded because it was about, let's see, about 15 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And we were all very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a little anecdotal story. But ultimately, I don't think attending the inauguration shows support one way or the other. And plus, I think for Mrs. Cash to answer her question, or to kind of follow up with something else that Steve Harvey said, he said that he wasn't going to attend because his wife had some plans for him, if I'm not mistaken, for his birthday or something to that effect.
Oh, Will, you know that's a convenient reply.
Hey, it could be true. I don't know. What is Steve Harvey's birthday? We don't know.
His birthday is Tuesday, like he said in the interview.
There you go.
There
you go. So maybe he'll be out of the country at that time, Who knows?
Yes.
I'm just saying.
So the second question my boss said was will attending show support or what? Well, here's the curveball here. I think it would definitely give him some good face time. Because, come on, at the end of the day, Steve Harvey is a celebrity. And he has several platforms that he needs to maintain. And if you all remember, it ain't like the internet was just been supporting all of his doings this past week. There was some controversy regarding a bit that he did on his TV show, basically suggesting that white women have nothing to do, they want nothing to do with Asian men. That was a bit that he did, and it was caused a lot of controversy. I pray and hope that the meeting with Trump was scheduled before he did that bit. Because if he did the bit and then got all this controversy and then said, "Oh, let me go show up at Trump Tower," then that's something else right there. So is it a thing where he's like, okay, I'm still trying to combat this this scandal, if you want to call it a scandal, but this controversy online. Let me show my face up at Trump's inauguration, and hey, I don't know, maybe he will. But any thoughts on that, you all?
On the curveball. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think that I think there's strength in numbers, right? It's the idea that you want as many people there as possible to that's what is able to show your support. So a lot of times when people are, maybe like doing marches or things like that, it's just the volume of people that speaks to the cause that shows how many people are supportive of it. So I think that if he's not really going to be, just 100% backing Trump, then it doesn't seem as if there's a point in going. But it seems like he's going to be, try. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on his show one day. Like, it seems like he's going to be trying to kind of be in having that connection with Trump, kind of that direct line to Trump. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I guess if he ends up going, or if he's definitely out of the country with his wife.
Yeah.
So here's my take on it. If he does go, it's going to give the perception that he supports Donald Trump wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't, that's the perception. The media is going to spin it. Donald Trump is going to use it for political. That's what I'm looking for. Political credibility. And that's going to be that, because when you have celebrities like Steve Harvey or any other celebrity that decides to attend, they're not going to sit amongst the people. All right? They're going to be with the rest of the other VIPs.
Yeah.
In the seating behind or in some close proximity to the president-elect. So either way, if he attends, that's what he's going to be, and that's the perception that he's going to give off. So in my opinion, there's no way around that. Regardless of how he feels about Trump, if he attends, that's what's going to happen. That's my opinion. Right.
The perception is going to be that he supports. That's the perception that's going to be. Yep. Okay, good, great.
So what's up with that joke, though? Unless you got somebody else put something out there.
The joke?
I thought that joke was funny. Yeah, I thought that joke was funny.
Basically, DeAndre, did you see it too?
No, what was the joke?
Okay, so basically he was doing a bit, he has the bit, just one more thing at the end of his show. And they were talking about a book. I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw like YouTube clip. They were talking about these random books out there. And he was like, "Oh, look at this book that I found from back in the day, probably like from the mid 90s, early 2000s or something like that." And it was basically a guide to for Asian men on how to get a white woman. And then so of course he's created a joke off of it. He's like, "Oh, that's going to be easy. That's just going to be 1-page book. Do you all," and it seemed as though he was posing a question to white women in the audience. He's like, "Do you all like Asian men?" And then he answered for them, "No." And then he was like, "Also for black women, Asian men, how to get a black woman. That's going to be a 1-page book too." He was like, "Black woman, do you like Asian men?" And then he went into his impression of a black woman. "I don't even like Chinese food. I can't even pronounce half of that stuff. I can't be with you," and some blah, 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 blah. So he said all that on TV. So, and then he was just laughing. He was laughing at his joke. So, of course that received some backlash.
Yeah, because people have kind of dismissed themselves from reality at this point, man. I think folks have gotten so caught up in their feelings and being politically correct that they miss out on a good joke. Look, here's the reality of it. All right.
What?
I actually came across this today, and let me unpack this a little bit. So, is what he's saying is a joke that he made? Generally speaking. All right. say no. It's not necessarily untrue. And the reason why I say that is because there have been some studies, and I just heard this today. I'm going to go look it up, but I'm just introducing here. That there are some studies that show that women, white women in particular, but women also in general tend to be more attracted to men that have more testosterone. And what equates to more testosterone? Being larger in stature, having some strong physical attributes, strong square jaw, symmetry, stuff like that. They even went as far as to having women smell sweaty shirts of men that had lower testosterone levels or higher testosterone levels. And the women found that they were more attracted to the smell of sweaty T-shirts from men that had higher testosterone levels. Generally speaking, Asian men, this is not 100% accurate all the time, but tend to be smaller than your average white guy and a lot smaller than your average black guy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they even went as far as to show is also white women tend to be more attracted to black guys when it comes to, I guess, overall sexual attraction because of the physicality, and I guess also there's a study show that black men generally have a tad bit more testosterone than white men. But on the flip side, men tended not to be as attracted to women that had higher levels of testosterone because women also have testosterone. And they found that women or Asian, they found that the men tended to gravitate more towards women with softer features and higher levels of estrogen, lower levels of testosterone, and that was the Asian woman.
Yeah.
So it was the adverse on the other side, but it was an interesting study. I'm gonna actually go and read it. I just want to introduce it here to kind of back up the joke. It's like the reality of what the joke is grounded in is actually, I guess, less politically correct than the actual joke that Steve Harvey made. I got
you. Deandra, do you have a comment regarding that?
No, I had never heard of that. That is interesting.
You know what? Let me state the obvious out there. Steve, first of all, why you gonna even put yourself in a position to mess up the money? Come on now. You got your show. You on TV. You don't have no internet show. You got the big. I think he's on NBC. You got the big, television company broadcasting your show. It's people on there who are Asian. It's Asian men and women tuning into your show. Why are you going to say something that's going to possibly mess up the money? That's the financial part of me speaking out. Now, the whole, let's talk about, ethnicities and stuff you just talked about. A lot of that is true. I mean, generally speaking, a lot of that is true. But still, like, why would he even venture into that lane? And then with him, I put my foot in his shoes. He's a comedian, and when it comes to comedic presentations, like most of them, they don't care what the subject is. Like if they think it's funny, they just go for it. So I think this is one of those instances where the comedian came out and he just whatever was on his mind, whatever he thought was funny, he just put it out there. And he sees the ramifications that are going on. He sees the tweets that are occurring, the responses on social media. And I think he's going to try to, weather this storm like he always weathers a lot of storms. So we'll see what happens. But Steve, man, you for one hand, you are about money. So don't be trying to mess up the money, man. Just my thoughts.
Trying to make these dividends.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Right joke. I'm sorry, man. I thought it was funny. Right joke, long venue. When you make it that big, and you get to the point where you should understand that you have to acquiesce to people's sensitivities in this extremely politically correct environment that we reside in nowadays. So, I think so. I think that just like what you said, Derrick, that comedian just came out. He couldn't help himself. He saw an opportunity to make a joke, a joke that I thought was funny, and I'm sure a lot of people actually thought was funny. And he just went with it. And now he's going to have to suffer the repercussions.
Yeah.
DeAndre, did you think that joke was funny at all?
I mean,
you didn't actually
yes
hear
and
it.
no. I'm also just not a huge Steve Harvey fan, so like anything he said, even if it's like laptop out funny, I'm just like. So I mean, it was okay. I definitely get the basis of it. Like I've dated an Asian man, and I understand why he said that. But,
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Steve Harvey. I'm so over him.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Before we move on, DeAndre, go ahead and give us reasons why you're not into him.
Well, he just really turned me off with the whole, I'm going to preach to single women. You know, he wrote a whole book about it. Actually, he might have written two. I don't know if it's two. I know there's at least one. And I guess I just don't understand why it's so one-sided. Why is it that you continue to preach, I'm putting that in quotes, to women, but it doesn't really feel like that's really being done to men? It's like, oh, well, we need to wait 90 days to have sex with y'all in order for you to respect me. What about him getting my respect? Like, it's just not, it doesn't, I don't like that whole preaching on single women thing. So ever since then, I've just kind of been turned off.
Gotcha.
Huh. That's interesting you bring that up. That's very interesting. Well, no, because I tend to agree with you. Yes. So, that is a bit one-sided. Actually, that's a lot one-sided. I haven't read the book, but I'm just going to go off of what you said, which is, you know, if that's the way that he put it, it is one-sided, and it's also the man's responsibility for, you know, whatever occurs in a relationship that, you know, could bring about other things within a relationship. My personal belief, and this is a traditional belief, that man is responsible for, you know, everything that, or I feel like the man is ultimately responsible for everything, at least on the advent of the relationship. Actually, you know what? Let me take it back. I don't even know where I really stand on this, other than that the fact that it does seem one-sided. But males do bear some I won't say the brunt of the responsibility. Let me get some time to gather my thoughts on this. But at least partial responsibility of respect and whatever else occurs in a relationship. You know, that mutual respect. But I think that maybe if you look at it from a different angle, Steve Harvey is coming at who ultimately is, I'm not going to say responsible for the relationship, but holds more power in the relationship. Because let's be honest with you. Let's be honest with everyone, period. Men do stuff to attract women. Plain and simple. The manly stuff that men do is not to get accolades from other men necessarily. It's to attract women. All right. Majority of the time, it's women choosing men, not the other way around. I'm not going to say that's always the case, but majority of the time, that's what it is. Women choose the man that they want to be with. Am I right or wrong in that? Did I cause some controversy? What's up?
No, I think that.
So maybe that's why he was going after women more so, because they hold more power, at least at the advent of the onset of the relationship.
Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Or maybe,
I was just bringing that up, man.
or maybe he knows that since the dawn of man, relationship discussion has always been a popular topic, and then him being the businessman that he is, I always go back to business. Maybe he knew he could make some money off of this book if he just talked about it in a certain way like he did. Seems as though the business plan worked. Seems as though the business plan worked because it was a New York Times bestseller. I think it's New York Times. One of those lists up there in New York. It was a bestseller, and he also got 2 movies out of the package. So, you know, I think it was probably a good decision on his part to benefit him.
There you go. If it don't make dollars,
it don't make sense.
That's right.
All right, Will, you still there?
Right here, man.
Okay, Deborah Johnson Cash. My mom, she said she's gonna tune in next week. All right, peace. Oh, here we go. Here we go. First of all, here's my first question to you, Will. Were you born in the state of Georgia?
Was I?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Southwest Atlanta Community Hospital.
Okay, your boy. Now, I don't know what the hospital's name is now, but your boy was born in Georgia Baptist. Kind of close over there by Georgia Tech. Back in 1983. So, yeah, I'm not a transplant. You know, I didn't spend other time in another state, then move to Georgia. I'm straight up from Georgia. Family from Georgia. All of that, all the above. So I bleed red and black. That's what I do. I bleed red and black, you know. I'm waiting on this ring to come. We got to get one championship, you know, under our belts because we were started in the 60s. You would think we could get one ring. So that's me. Yeah. So the question of the night is, if you were born in a certain city, a certain state, does that mean you're supposed to support that team? If not, why do you think you have that right to? I know it's a rather serious topic, and we need to unpack it now.
Man, I'm curious what Steve Spurley had to say on this here.
Steve Spurley probably is not. He's probably watching football right now.
Yep.
Steve Spurley.
But I mean, you know, I guess it's six in one hand, half dozen in the other, man. I'm always gonna support the Falcons, even though I don't really follow sports as much as I would like to, specifically football. So I'm always support the Falcons, and maybe it's because I'm from Atlanta, and that's where that's all I know as far as my upbringing. Right. And the Falcons were a big part of that. So maybe it's just inherent within me at this point that I gotta support. But I'm not gonna hold it against nobody that, for whatever reason, just really likes the Falcons. Just like I'm not gonna hold it against my aunt, who was born and raised and went to Washington. That she wanna wear cowboy stuff all up on her Facebook and Instagram. I'm not gonna call out my aunt whose first name starts with a J. I'm not gonna call out like that, but you know. I'm just saying though, man. You said if she wants to support the Cowboys, then that's all good.
You said she went to Washington High School in Atlanta, but reps the Cowboys.
Oh, and no. Hold on. She went to. Did she go to? I think she went to Washington and Doug. I know she definitely went to Doug.
Oh.
Frederick Douglass High School, yeah.
Yeah, my father went to Frederick Douglass High School, class of '73. But Oh
no, she was a lot later than that, man. This is my youngest son I'm talking about.
I got you.
Is in her 40s, so.
You know, as you could tell, I was spending a lot of time thinking about this topic this week because I was just so perplexed. I would see the Facebook posts, you know, I'm not saying fools, sorry about that. People that I went to high school with, people that I grew up with, people that we hung out. Man, we went to the club, we went to the sports game, we went to the mall, we went everywhere in Atlanta. And I see you going for the Cowboys. What is up with that? I mean, it's not like, you know, you grew up in Dallas or you grew up in Louisiana or whatever, but your team is the Cowboys. I just don't get it. Will, the only thing I could think of is maybe their parents were Cowboys fans. Maybe they had parents that weren't from Atlanta that just moved to Atlanta, you know, maybe in the 70s or 80s or something like that. And, you know, maybe, you know, that's where they get this support from. And then I got another guy, I'm not going to call his name, you know, a cousin, first name starts with an M. He's a Green Bay Packers fan. You've been living in Atlanta area all your life and you go for the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully your justification is not because your favorite colors are green and gold. Hopefully it's not that. But yeah, man, I just get a little pissed off about that, man. Not really, but it is a good topic.
That's real interesting. Yeah. I think some folks are fair weather fans, man. You
Yeah.
know, the Falcons start having a good season, they win them. You know, if not, they'll go with their second best, which might in this case be the Cowboys or who knows, man. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't followed it as much as I would like to, but I'm always gonna side with the home team, man. My support is always gonna go with the home team.
Yeah. And for those who were born in New York and LA and Chicago, I would expect you to represent your home team. It's just I'm a man about logic. It just seems logical. But it seems as though, that's not the case these days. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the freedoms that we have in this country. Nobody's forcing you to make the decision that you don't want to make. So if you're influenced for some reason that you want to support another team, go ahead. At the end of the day, like I always like to think about, ain't none of them jokers paying my bills. So they don't get the supreme allegiance from me, but I do root for them every now and then.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on nobody that from New York or Philly or Minnesota, you name it. If they want to all of a sudden switch over to the home team, I'm not gonna hate on them, man. Fries up. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. We're welcoming them with open arms, but look here. You wanna take off when the Falcons ain't doing so well, man. We're gonna get called out. Just be prepared.
Right. Well, I'm wishing them the best. We're in the NFC Championship next week versus the Packers. I believe it's gonna be at the Dome. So I'm just. That's gonna be FYI. That's gonna be the last game at the Dome. Dome is shutting down this year, so I'm just happy to see my boys do what they do, man.
Hey, I got unless you got another topic, I got a question for you real quick.
What's up?
And you put several posts before regarding music, hip hop, rap, specifically out of Atlanta, back in the days when we were coming up. And so, my wife kind of made fun of me on this a little bit because I'm not necessarily up to speed on all the new stuff that comes out. Yeah. Especially like the new Atlanta rap, because it seemed like every day there's another new Atlanta artist coming out that sounds almost exactly the same as the artist before them. Yeah. So to me, it doesn't interest me all that much. I got to hear it over and over again. It's not like the first time I heard Elevators or the first time I heard, any song off of I'm Serious from T.I.'s first album, or the first time I heard Soul Food, or first time I heard Watch for the Hook. It doesn't grasp me like that. Mm. I have to hear it over and over again for me to even be like, okay, it's cool. Mm. What's your take on that, on this new Atlanta music coming? Don't laugh at me. Yeah, the joke she made, she tagged me or something, and it was funny, but at the same time, I was like, shoot, I guess I'm considered old school now. So, what you think, man? You get the same thing from your wife too? Like, she be going in on you like, man, you don't listen to nothing new?
Nah, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. First of all, my wife, man, we kind of kindred souls, if you will. We old school by nature. You know what I'm saying? So, only new school my wife probably listening to is like Beyonce, Fantasia, Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine Sullivan. Those are the only three, that she's looking out for. You know what I'm saying? But we old school till we die. Here's my take on that situation, man. I think the new wave of rapping that we are witnessing, I think it's a representation of where we are as a people, where we are as a people. I think it's a reflection of where we are as a people. So if we sense the lack of effort that's being shown these days, it's all about the party songs. It's all about
That's right.
Let's get the girls, let's get the drugs, let's party. We own it, we own this, we own that. I don't need to put a lot of effort into my lyrics. It's just, hey, this is swag rap.
Yes,
Let's get you on a vibe. Let's get you on a mood. That's what we do. I think it's a reflection, man. Like, sometimes my thoughts are weird, but if you think about it, like our society, the technology has been so advanced that we can do things relatively easily now. It's nothing for us to make a beat in our basement, put it on the various social media sites the next day. It's just music has become indispensable. So that's if making music has become easy, if consuming music has become easy. To me, naturally, the way we compose and deliver the music would just be easy. No thoughts, no nothing. No significant thoughts on lyricism. Let's just put it out, and we have an audience, a base that continues to consume it. So we've got the 14 to 29 demographic that's cool with the swag rap, cool with the repeating a sentence over and over and over and over. That's. I mean, am I hating on it? No, I'm not hating on it. I mean, I can appreciate the new wave, if you will, the new, because I'm pretty sure when, your Outkast and your T.I.s and all these other artists and your Jay-Z's and everybody and your Nas's and everybody who devoted themselves to lyricism, when they came out, I'm pretty sure Run DMC, they had kind of a thought about that as well. Like, whoa, okay, so this what's going on? Okay, so this is new. So, like I say all that to say, I can appreciate the new wave of music. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's not. I mean, that's not where I feel at home. I feel at home with the music especially the hip hop music, where there's actual lyricism going on, where it's actual verses that make me want to rewind the tape, so to speak. I know we don't have tapes no more, but it make me want to go back and say, whoa. Like there was songs that, what I'm saying, that went down where you were like, especially Outkast stuff, like you hear it one time and you hear it another month, you're like, oh, that's what he was saying. I ain't even catch that the first time. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna always feel home with that type of delivery. I mean, that's just who I am. I mean, you can call me old, you can blame it on, when I was born, but that's just what I'm gonna rock with, man.
There was songs that I heard that, I've listened to probably hundreds, thousands of times from Southern Playlistic, right?
Yeah.
And just recently, I was listening to one, I forget what it was, but I listened real close to a lyric, and I was like, hold on. I rewound it back, and I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. That's what he was talking about this whole time?
Yeah.
Like, we talking about 20 plus years ago, and it still resonates, and it's still actually saying something. I feel as if this rap nowadays, man, it's not really saying much, and I agree with you. It's a representation of where we are and how easy things are.
Yeah.
To where you don't actually have to put any thought behind what you're saying. You just have to say something that sounds cool.
Yeah.
But it's not anything thought provoking, Right. It kind of makes me think of Andre's verse on Return of the Gangster.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about, let's talk about rhyme javelin, time traveling,
something rhyme javelin, get down.
We don't talk about anything like that no more, really, for the most part. Not on mainstream. And when you think about it, when Outkast came out, I don't think they had any songs that were really hearty songs that didn't also have some sort of hidden or maybe even overt message in it, Maybe one, and that was The Way You Move. But even then, it wasn't overly like, it was just like a feel good, like I'm about to hit the streets and go to the club. I'm not owing nothing. I'm just trying to look fly and, attract some women. And that's it. It wasn't anything like, oh, I'm about to get on these mollies and I'm about to do this and I'm about to hit this lick and shoot this dude. And then I'm going to go to the club where I'm going to shoot up the club and I'm going to disrespect a girl in front of her dude.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, like I said, I respect the art that's being the form of the art. You know, I mean, we can go into lyrics and all that and debate lyrics and the stuff that I don't choose to appreciate. But as far as that form as a whole and how it's being delivered, I mean, I can respect that. But at the end of the day, new school people, don't try to put yourself in a category that you have not earned. You need to just make sure that, what you're presenting serves its purpose. If this is the swag rap era, then just compare yourself to the other swag rappers. You know what I'm saying? Don't you dare try to be in the same conversation as a Kendrick Lamar, as a J. Cole. And also, and then I'm not saying anything that anybody else hadn't said. If you don't write your lyrics, don't put yourself in the category for those who do write their lyrics. This
exactly.
the point is, we will just accept your music for what it is, but just know that we experienced a different time, and so it's like really no comparison. So you get in your lane. We'll continue to, appreciate your lane, but really dive into and feel at home with the lane that, we've come up with.
I agree. I definitely agree. Real quick, greatest Outkast album of all time.
Okay. Whoo, that is a hard one right there.
This starts arguments right here.
Okay. All right. Let me think about this. Let me think. Greatest. Now, okay. Greatest Outkast album of all time.
You handle all the other topics with ease, but I throw this one out, you like, oh man, hold on.
Yeah. Whoo, that's an unfair question, but I gotta give it to. Okay, number one to me is Aquemini. Number two is AT-Aliens. And then I gotta throw like Stankonia in there too. That's me. I'm gonna stand firm by that. Aquemini.
Nah.
Hold on, bro. Aquemini, AT-Aliens. Ooh, hold on, man. Sometimes AT-Aliens and Aquemini can like be swapped out for each other. You know what I'm saying? But
I know you forget which album, what song is on what album. I hear you.
Aquemini, AT-Aliens, and then Stankonia. What's up? What you got?
Number one, Aquemini. Hands down.
That's what I said.
There was some gems on all of them. It's at least 5 gems on all of them, even the newer stuff.
Yeah.
When you really listen to what they're saying, it's some gems, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least 5 gems on every single album, at the very least. But Aquemini is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Southern Playlist and Cadillac Music.
Can we talk about that?
Stankonia, obviously, great album. But if we want to talk about top 3, I don't think Stankonia was in their top 3.
Are you?
Very, very good album, especially
What?
that. I really like that song Red Velvet when you listen to the lyrics.
Yes, sir.
It's giving you a good warning.
Yes, sir.
A good warning about the lifestyle you think you want to live, but what could ultimately happen to you if you're not careful. But yeah, that's my take on it. That's the top 3. That's my opinion.
Southern Playlistic Cadillac Music. So, to me, it was definitely groundbreaking.
Yes.
Because, like I mentioned before, that album put the whole South on its back in a time where we were not accepted. So, I appreciate the groundbreaking, capability that it had. But when you listen to the songs, I mean, there's some classics on there. I can't give that, I can't put it above Stankonia because Dre was still trying to figure himself out, man. I put albums up there whereby the artists, first of all, they know who they are. They are not compromising to meet anybody's expectations. You know, Dre, 3 Stacks, he was compromising on Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music, man. He was.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about basically what everybody else was talking about. And we know from the jump that Antoine, you know, Big Boy and Dre, we know that they are like, I don't want to say night and day, but they are not the same. You know what I'm saying? And on that album, he kind of compromised and tried to deliver and present himself as being like the same. So that's the only thing, you know, that's why I don't really, now I love the album in terms of like what it did for the South. I love that. And was it jamming and was it making people that weren't from the South recognize that we are here? You know, we're here to stay. Yes, it did. But in terms of like showing the best representation of Outkast, I can't put it up there, man. I can't.
The reason why I say it is because it was so groundbreaking, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, in addition to that, I get what you're saying that Dre was still trying to figure himself out. I mean, in my opinion, and I'm sure other people agree, Andre 3000, one of the greatest lyricists, at the very least, coming out of the South that there ever was. In my opinion, especially during that era, during that whole era, I want to say, you know, early 90s to early 2000s. At the very least, I'm being extremely conservative with that. At the very least, because really, he's probably one of the best lyricists out of the South, maybe one of the best lyricists, period. Like, very, very strong contender for the top 10 lyricists of all time. That's my opinion.
Yes.
But I think that he did not compromise as much as you would think when you really examine what he was saying on some of the albums. You know, like so yeah, we know Players Ball. That was a feel good. That was a feel good song. But let me see. I'm trying to think of the one particular song where you hear him going into a representation of what we of what we know Andre 3000. I'm getting tongue-tied. Of what we expect from Andre 3000. What we eventually came to expect from Andre 3000.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Get Up, Get Out. Remember that?
Yes.
So, I mean, if you listen to what he was saying on that album, I mean, on that song in particular, I think that was a foreshadowing of what we would come to expect from him.
Right.
Because he was talking, I mean, everything that he was saying was real. Okay, it wasn't, you know, anything that he was. I think he adjusted his style. I think he hadn't found himself yet, but it was still a representation of what was real.
Yeah.
You know, a real poetic account of how folks from the South, specifically in Atlanta, from the hood, would come, you know, see the world on, or their take on, you know, an array of different topics.
Right.
But that's actually one of my favorite songs too. Get Up, Get Out.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite.
That's my take, man.
My favorite song, man, it's too many to be, you know, ranking number one. But man, I'll just say one that I could listen to over and over again, and you've said it before, is Elevators. Elevators,
Oh,
dog.
of course.
Elevator. It's just, man. Hey.
It threw people off when you thought the song. No. Never mind. I was thinking of Coming Out, but yeah. But Elevators, yeah.
But
and when you look at the whole the music video, it's just them. No, man, I'm getting my music videos mixed up. Elevators was the one where they were like in the woods or whatever, and they had like aliens and stuff all over. You know, I don't know.
I don't think so.
You know what I'm talking about? The Elevators song, the Elevators music video.
I think that was the one. Yeah, I believe so. I believe the one they were in the woods, but I'm gonna confirm it right now. Okay, video.
Actually, yeah. When I think about his lyrics on that, they were pretty profound. And they were real.
Yeah.
Got stopped in the mall the other day.
Heard it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was when they. Yeah. That was when they was in the woods. Yeah.
I think Aquemini is actually my all-time favorite song.
Oh yeah.
Because it just completely messed me up. How when you think the song is over, then they bring the beat back.
Yes. Yes.
When I first heard that, my mind was blown. I was like, oh, there's more?
Yeah, yeah. Whoo, now's the time to get on, like Spike Lee say, get on the bus. Go get your work and keep your beeper chirping. It's a must. What you on that dust of cornstarch, familiar with that smack man? The music like that green stuff provided to you by Sack Man, Pac Man. How you think we gonna do that, man? Run around on National 18s without no gap, man. That's real.
Definitely real. That's real.
Yeah. But yeah, just
Also, shout out to Goody Mob. Shout out to all of them. Cool Breeze. He was talking about some real stuff back then too. Didn't necessarily like his rapping style, but he was talking about some good stuff. The Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
The Witch Doctor was just a weird character, man. But he was that whole Dungeon family just had some real unique people on it, man, all together.
Yes, sir.
Organized Noise, man. They was just Organized Noise. They just got this sound to it too. I think that was part of the mystique of every artist under the Dungeon family when that organized noise production behind them just made them so distinct. Excuse me, I'm making a word so distinct and made them stand out that much more, man. With that funk influence in the music.
Yeah.
It was just like, not only did you like the lyrics, but the music was intricate. The music itself spoke to you, not just the lyrics. So,
yes, sir.
Just like, the prime example for that is Spodioti Double Issues Angel.
Mm-hmm.
But you can look at any of the songs from any of the Goody Mob albums. Cool Breeze's albums, Witch Doctor. Sleepy Brown, when he had that group Society of Soul, you listen to that whole album, that's a bunch of soulful, like jazz/funk influence. A lot of people probably have forgotten all about that album.
Yeah.
Mister with Bobby Valentino, his first group that he was with.
Yes, sir.
Lil Will, I know people probably forget about him, but Looking for Nikki.
Yeah, Looking for Nikki. Yeah.
Man.
I remember, man.
I got this nostalgic feeling right now, man. Seeing him talk about this.
Absolutely, man. It's I don't know what I think I saw an interview with L.A. Reid was talking. He was like, man, I don't know what's in that red clay, but it's some creativity down there. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that G8 red clay.
Yeah. So man, I'm just happy we did it one more time. Did the show one more time. Talked about these topics. I'm just gonna put it out there, y'all. I'm gonna keep working hard with this. We're gonna keep working hard with this. I got the 9 to 5 going, so a lot of more research and a lot of more ideas that I would like to put in it. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a worker as well. So this is the part-time gig right now regarding Derrick Live, but I'm gonna keep on working it, keep on trying to get these opportunities out there so that one day, we can get this thing going a lot more, and it won't just be a once a week broadcast, because we want to make sure we get those issues and those topics out there. So yeah, Will, you got any closing comments, man?
No, other than I support you 100%, man.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, brother. We I mentioned to the people before, I'm working with a website builder, as well as she gives me consulting services as well, free of charge. So allowing me to understand, how to optimize the internet and YouTube, and how to make sure a lot more people that are on here now, get the information. So I'm going to continue to work with her, build this as a legit platform, and man, who knows where this will go.
Well, I pray that it goes somewhere very substantial and can reach as many people as possible, man. Because I know what I think we both really would like the same thing, which is ultimately for people to expand their minds, open their minds, and by virtue of that, maybe open their hearts too.
Absolutely.
Open their minds up to look at things from maybe a little bit different angle, or realizing there's a bit more to some of these stories, some of these sound bites that you see on the news than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that you took that first step to showing people, like, look, man, don't just think of this as, okay, you hear it on the news, they talk about it for a couple minutes and that's that. No, man, this stuff has the potential to affect you. It has the potential to affect your daily life.
Absolutely.
So it's best for you to have an understanding, a grasp of it, so that maybe you can either learn how to work it so that it would be in your benefit, or if it's not, you can, look at ways to start to change it for the better, so that it is beneficial for you. But, it all starts with that idea, man. That's the most, shoot, man. Lost my train of thought. That's the most infectious thing is an idea.
Absolutely. And I got this idea right here to inform the people and to let them know how every decision on our end, could potentially affect what goes on in D.C. and then vice versa as well. So, this is the country we live in. This is the system that we are a part of. So we just want to make sure that we continue to inform the people. With that said, stay positive, stay blessed, stay motivated, and most importantly, stay informed. Peace out, y'all. All right, Will, man. Hey, I'll holler at you this week, man.
All right, man.
All right, take care.
Peace, bro.
All right, you too.
All right, oh, real quick.
What's up?
I'm about to go on vacation, man. I'm gonna be an assistant here, starting on Tuesday. So I think I should be back on Sunday, though.
Okay, well, just let me know, man.
I think, yeah, man. No doubt, man.
Cool. You be safe on your vacation.
All right, appreciate it, man. Y'all stay blessed.
Hey, you do the same. Peace out. All right, y'all, appreciate everything. Thank you for being with your boy, Derrick Cash, man. Just working this out, y'all. We're going to keep on getting better every week. And I'm going to stay at it as long as you all stay at it. Continue to support me. Continue to share these videos. You can hit me up on Twitter at Derrick, DerrickAcash. On Instagram, you can hit me up at Derrick Anthony Cash, DerrickAnthonyCash. And on Facebook, you can hit me up at Derrick Cash. Thank you all for your support. Tune in next week where we start the show off with some nutrition and fitness information from the one and only DeAndre Cash. All right, y'all. Like I say all the time, man, live on purpose. Be you. Go after those goals. Go after those things that you're trying to go after. And with a little hard work and dedication, you will be able to achieve that. All right. Take care. Peace.